Hello, this is Sarah Thrower with the Maxwell Park Library, the youth associate there, and I am here to introduce one of the Teen 2020 Summer Reading Program crafting tutorials. Because of the pandemic and social distancing and all of that, we're not having traditional crafting programs this year where you come in for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours for a craft, and I frantically run around and help people do various parts of it. We have kits, which obviously by now you've picked one up, otherwise you probably wouldn't be watching this link. We have 3 paper dragon kits from Canon Creative Park, plus all the supplies that you need in the kits. Since I'm recording this a few weeks before summer reading program starts, I don't know if you chose the one that you have or if you randomly selected it, but this video is for this red dragon. Yes. So it took me probably about 7-8 hours to make, but that is also with trying to make a video tutorial of it, and I have never done that before, so I just want to pre-apologize for this. I'm not a YouTuber. There are more shots than I'd like to admit where I go off. I'm cutting off screen like that. It's top down, so you're watching me glue and cut and fold. So that's what this video is for, to give you some tips on how to cut those small fine pieces that you'll find, like the teeth, and how to fold the pieces. What I found the most difficult part of the dragon to do was its feet. But it took a while, and I want to show you the fruits of my labor. Dun, dun, dun. The red dragon. Look at those teeth. Look at those wings and the horn. It's pretty big. It's almost like Smaug. Anyway, so this is the red dragon, and you're going to end up with something very similar to this, hopefully. And I also just wanted to impart one piece of advice, if nothing else. Dragon over there. Take your time. Because we're not doing this in person, the benefit to having a craft like this it's not going to take you an hour, it's not going to take you 2 hours or 3 hours. It's going to take many hours, and the benefit is you have your instructions. So even if after watching this intro you're like, I don't want to watch this girl's video, she's not a YouTuber, it's not going to be good, I hope you give it a try, at least the first part. You have your instructions and you have everything you need. So there's no rush. There's no deadline to complete it. You don't have to have it finished in 6 weeks by the time summer reading program's over. Take your time. There's no rush. It's not a race. So just take your time. You're gonna hear me say that a lot in the video because it's important. Have patience with yourself, and just have fun. Crafting, I think, should be relaxing, and I don't think you will regret this dragon craft at all. It's tough, but it's worth it. It's the scariest dragon, so if you picked it, you picked well. If you didn't pick it, it's bonus. So anyway, good luck, and I hope everything turns out well. Let us know in the comments of this video on our Facebook page how it went. Show us pictures of yourself with your dragons. If you name it, tell us what you name your dragons. Whatever. Let us know how it went. And good luck to you. Okay, bye. Hello. If you are here, that is because you picked that dragon kit from the Maxwell Park Summer 2020 Summer Reading Program Teen Kit. You randomly selected a bag with this kit in it. So this comes from Canon Creative Park, and yes, these are the photography people, Canon. Canon Creative Park is where I've been getting like
probably 80% of the paper crafts I've done at the Maxwell Park Library over the last year. You have selected the red dragon. I'm gonna say that the difficulty for this compared to the other dragons is medium. It has 62 pieces. There's another dragon that has like over 80. This took me 2.5 hours to cut out all those pieces. That is not your goal. I'm not telling you that to make that your goal. I'm telling you that just as a guide. If it's quicker than that, I would be afraid that the pieces might turn out sloppy. So take your time. As I said in the intro to this craft, the benefit to doing crafts like this summer, where I have this video for you and you do the craft yourself at home, is that you can do this at your own pace. You don't have to rush in the hour or hour and a half that we would have had at a program at the library. So take your time. Just know that it takes time. This was only the cutting. I haven't actually made the dragon yet, so we are gonna learn how to make the dragon together. But after the cutting, there's a lot of folding and gluing. So we will go over the instructions and the notations later. I will just note anything that is grayed out, you don't have to worry about. Don't need to worry about that. Of course, caution up front, you're going to be using scissors, so be careful and do not misuse these scissors that the library has given you. Thanks to the Tulsa Library Trust, we have a grant. You get to keep all the kits that you receive in that bag. You get to keep all the kits, get to keep all the items in the kit that you received, until I'm not used to recording things like this. So be very careful with the scissors. You're gonna have a lot of leftover stuff, which is good because you can craft some more. So we'll go over these in more depth later, but what your kit comes with is one set of assembly instructions, which is 5 pages. Come up. Stop that. Sorry. Cat is scratching furniture. So you have your assembly packet, which is 5 pages, nothing front to back. This is actually a very excellent kit. It is very clear on what parts go where, which part is which. So, and it walks you all the way through to Crazy Dragon, Crazy Awesome Dragon. And then you have 7 pages of parts. 7 pages of 62 parts. Now you notice I've only got 1. That's because I already cut everything out. They're waiting for me to do that magical time jump thing that you see in YouTube videos where they're like, I start cutting and bam, they're all done. So more on that later. I am going to cut out a few things on here first, slowly, just to show you, yes, cutting these out slowly is okay and it is recommended. And also you can see, like, look at those teeth. That's some really fine detail. And compared to, say, my fingernail, some parts are small and require a lot of finesse. So it's not hard. You just have to go at it slowly and take your time, and I'll show you a couple of tricks with this page, and then you will take your time cutting out the rest of the pieces. So let's talk about real quick what comes in your kit. You have scissors. I have heard from many kids at the library that they don't have scissors at home. That is one reason that the Tulsa Library Trust was okay with me using their funds to purchase scissors for kids and teens. Kids get kids scissors that aren't rounded and blunted. The teens get regular scissors. I don't have any left-handed scissors that I'm aware of, but again, you're picking up these bags randomly, so you get normal scissors. You're gonna get a golf pencil, because while a lot of the pieces are labeled very well, some of them are small enough so that They don't have the number on them, and you're gonna have to label them on the back with pencil. You also have a gigantic bottle of Aleene's tacky glue, which I have been using this bottle for months and months, and I'm not even like halfway through it. I'm like that. I meant to get, well, I thought when it said 2 to 3 ounces that it would be like, you know, this big, and that would be plenty for your dragon, but it is literally as big as this 8-ounce bottle right here. So yeah, so you got a lot of glue. You're gonna have a lot of glue left over for other projects. So yeah, you. And you're going to have 3 to 4 binder clips. Now the binder clips, how I use them, I use them 2 at a time when I'm in the gluing stage. I'll glue some parts together, and I'll pinch them together, and then I will hold them together with the binder clips. And then I will go through, glue 2 more parts, use 2 more binder clips to pinch those glued parts together that are supposed to be together, and hold those together. And usually by the time I'm onto a 3rd pair, I take the first pair off and just use them. So that's why you're only getting 3 or 4 binder clips in your kit, as opposed to like 60 some when you have 60 parts. You don't need that many. You just, you know, we're gonna be creative. And what's not in the kit is a ruler. Really, you don't need a ruler, you just need a straight edge. And I'm just gonna angle my camera. Also, like if you've got a table that has a very straight edge, you can easily use this as a guide for folding the parts over the straight edge of it, like a table. And we are going to be doing some of that for rounding. Again, we'll go over this later, but it's basically like making a ribbon, but you're not going to want to make a ribbon out of your parts. You're just going to want to make them so that they round and that they form. So while that's not in your kit, just have something with a very straight, not sharp edge with you, so that you can, you know, fold with precision. So I'll just take that out of the shot since it's not really in the kit. But so that's what you've got. And I'm gonna take a break before I set up and start cutting pieces. Okay, so you've talked about what's in your kit, and now we are going to start cutting out some pieces. So for this, you will need scissors and a pencil, and let's do this page by page. Here's page 1. Page 1 of 7. Let's make sure we stay organized. Go ahead and just cut all of them out real quick. I'm not going to cut them all individually out, but I always like to get the round, all that empty space around the corners and stuff out. So there's some parts. And just to note, right where the thingamajig is holding my camera up above me is right in the middle of my phone screen, so I can't quite see the middle of my shot. But I'm trying to keep everything in frame for you. So all that paper already done and gone. Oh, it might also be handy to keep a little trash bin or something next to you. So let me start with something easy and unlabeled. So you see on some of these parts, the number is on it. And that's what I loved about this kit. It's got a lot of parts numbered to where when you cut them out, you're good to go. But some of them are too small, or there just weren't tabs. If you hear any fussing in the background, that's a cat in the window over there. 42, calm down. So Like this part is quite small. There's no tab. So what you're gonna have to do is just remember that is 6. And that's my cat fussing in the window again. Sorry about the noise. He got the water bottle on that one. So go slow. I know it's small and that is challenging. For me personally, what I like to do, I'm most comfortable when the design, the color, is on the left side of my scissors so I can see where that line is. And don't worry about being perfect. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, as my colleague Alex at the Peggy Helmerich Library says. So here is part of our tongue, and it is piece 6. So turn that right over. And you're like, but what if I confuse 6 with 9? You won't, because piece 9 is labeled. But just in case you're still afraid of that, write a 6 and like underline the 6 on the back. I can't see. There we go. There's that. So do that for the other 2 parts. There's 10 and 11. Cut them out first, cut them out with their numbers. And you can, if they're big enough like this one, do it right now. 11. 10. Use a pencil or a ballpoint pen, but you were provided with a pencil in your kit. Just don't use anything that's going to leak through to the front of the pattern on your dragon. Okay, I think that's about center. Take your time. And notice how I'm moving the paper rather than my scissors. I've noticed while crafting with kids and teens at my library that they like to angle their scissors around, and that's really hard on your hand. It's really hard on the paper. Just, you know, that's why we're cutting out these pieces to make it easier to handle, so you're not working with the whole page. You're working with one piece at a time, and you just rotate, move that piece as you need to. And I'm, like I said, I'm trying to keep this center frame, so I hope it comes out well. So all we're doing right now is cutting and labeling, and we're taking our time. And if you're not used to working with paper crafts and cutting paper out with scissors all the time, your fingers might hurt after a little bit. I mean, I've got little knots and my thumb cracks. So again, the benefit of having a video is that you can pause it whenever you want and come back to it. So try not to mourn the in-person summer reading program thing this year too much with this, because this is a very detailed craft, and it is actually a good thing that we can do it in this format. So there's my number 10 piece, all labeled and ready to go. I'll go ahead and cut this one out. And I'm not watching how fast or slow this goes for me. Just keep in mind that you don't have to go this fast. I am used to this. But this isn't to say that this is a difficult craft. I would not have assigned it. I wouldn't have picked it if I thought in any way that it would not be doable on your own with guidance from a parent or caretaker. So no worries, you can totally do this. I know you can do this. Cut out the last wing. Okay. Let's get our little junk pieces away. And we have pieces 6, 10, and 11, part of the tongue, a couple of wings. So you've got, you know, 15 other pieces to cut out. Let's do a more difficult one. I cut out part 4 because look at how fine those teeth are. Yes, they're yellow and they're grungy, you know, dinosaur, dragon teeth. But I want to cut this out up close so you can see the tricks. Now, again, you're going to move your paper. You're not going to wibble wobble your scissors. That is the hard way to attack triangles. So you're just going to go cut in to a triangle. That's all you're going to do. That's a lot of what a lot of these pieces are. And say, oh no, you almost cut it all the way, but you didn't quite. If you don't want to get back in there, you can always twist. Let me pop part off. Ah, yeah. Oh. It's a little trash lid for parts. Okay, that I cut off. So remember, just cut into all the triangles. Take your time. Oh, I'm trying to do this on frame. Maybe if I lay this right in the center, that'll encourage me to keep it in frame. So, into the triangle. Into the triangle. 42 says hi, if you can hear that. It's been having a case of the zoomies. Inexplicable zoomies. Okay, and you don't have to be doing this with me right now. You can be just watching to see how it's done. So don't worry if you're like, oh, you got slower, Sarah. Don't worry about that. When it comes to round parts, you're gonna do what I said earlier. Just keep rotating your part. And here we come to the teeth. So I'm just going to cut up to the top, the tippy tops of the teeth. And you can't really see them. That's okay. I think that's kind of by design. So if you make them a little bit longer, you know, it's not going to hurt anything. And if you cut into the design a little bit like I just did, don't worry about that. No one's going to notice. Just as long as you don't cut the whole thing in half or whatever. Just take your time. You're going to hear me say that a lot. Cut that off, and we're back into cutting into a triangle. Now I can do that over here too. I didn't do that with the first parts. Just cutting over the edges. I'm gonna do it this time. Make sure when you hold it, you're not gonna cut your finger. I know that my thumb is like precariously close to the edge of my scissors, but I'm also going slow. So that's another reason why you cut these pieces, these tiny pieces out really slowly, because you also want to make sure that you don't cut yourself. We have, boop, okay, so we're going to cut into these triangles. Okay, and we are going to cut into our teeth. I'm just gonna, this may look a little cattywampus, I'm just trying to see it on the phone. So again, you have the top of your tip, which sometimes you can't quite see, but just cut along the side, cut out a triangle. I'm just gonna cut them out. I need one side and then another side. I'm gonna go back over here. Sometimes they're really tiny. Clean up this a little bit. Though again, don't let perfection be the enemy of the good. Just keep going. So cut that one already. Just really close to the next tooth. These two are right next to each other, so that makes it easy. You just cut out a triangle. And I swear I did try to find other like pro videos for these, like on YouTube, and I didn't see any, so I was like, I guess I better do it myself. And as you can tell, I'm not a practiced video maker, tutorial maker. Okay. That's all right. A whole lot of this year has been trial and error, or just jumping in and doing things, learning things. So this is going to be another one of those things for us, because like I said, I haven't built this dragon yet. The one you're going to see in the one that you saw in the intro will be my finished product. Okay. It's a little wobbly as you have less surface area around you. Just go slow. Boom. This is one of the most, I think it's one of the most difficult pieces because it's very small, very sharp. And that took about 12.5 minutes to do. And that's okay. So, we've gotten 4 pieces out of the first page of 18. So, I'm going to stop this. You guys are going to cut all your pieces on all 7 pages. Keep each page of parts together somehow. Keep them organized, even if it's just like in a pile, because you'll be able to see what they are when you get back to them. Okay, you've got all your parts cut out and labeled, correct? Everything that didn't have a number on it, you put a number on the back of it. You've got everything all separated out and cut. Excellent. So now we're going into the fold portion of your parts. First, you just cut them all out. Like I said, it took me about 2.5 hours to cut out all 60-some pieces for me. If it took longer for you, don't worry, that's cool. As far as I'm concerned, the longer you take, the better, because, you know, gives you time to be precise. So now we're going to fold, and you're going to bust out this again, the assembly instructions. Like I said before, these are really excellent instructions. What you're going to need for folding is either a ruler, straight edge, or a table with a straight edge. Like, oh, there's my table with my straight edge. And of course, limber fingers to fold. Now, here are the instructions for folding. You have, when you see a line of dots, you've probably seen a lot of lines of dots on your parts. That means it's a mountain fold, where your tip is up like a mountain, the top of a mountain. When you see lines with dots and dashes, that is a valley fold. That is the opposite, where your point is down like a valley. You don't need to worry about those solid lines because you've already cut everything out, so you're good there. We also have, that you'll see on the parts, these yellow arrows for glue. We are not messing with glue right now, but we will need to pay attention to these green curved arrows. That means we're going to add some curves. And of course, like I said, we're not gluing right now, so don't worry about these colored dots on your dragon. But I'll go over the curve in a moment, but first let me demonstrate the mountain and valley fold. I didn't like the take that I did earlier on pieces from the first page, so here I am on page 4. This is part number 36, and this has nothing but mountain folds. As you can see, here, 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 here. Actually, let me go to page 4 and see if it also needs a curve. Well, let's just do mountain and valley fold right now. So it's all mountain. So you're just going to make sure that the tip is up, the fold is up like the top of a mountain. I use a ruler, but you don't have to. You can just straight up use your fingers or the edge of a table. But I'm just, you know, I just use a ruler because I have one. Actually, this isn't mine. This is the hub's. It's actually let me hang on to it for months. So that's him. Love him for letting me use his tools. Okay. Through a series of mountain folds, and you notice. Whoop, sorry, it's really hard for me to keep that in frame, but it continues up through the tab. Now, not every tab has folding instructions because not every tab needs to be folded. So if you can't see any dots or dots and dashes, don't worry about it. That just means it's fine as it is. I should have done these tabs all first. And then that. And tab first. And then the part. So that these are all mountain folds. Boom. We also have to do some valley folds. Boop. Okay. This has mountain and valley folds. See, here's a tab that has no folding instructions, so that's fine. But here's mountain, here's a mountain, this is valley. So mountain, fold goes up, another mountain, fold goes up, valley. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to keep this in the center of the frame, I'm sorry. Valley, you can see the dashes and the dots very well. there's our valley. There's that piece. And here's another one. Here's piece 40. It's got both valley and mountain. Let's do the mountain ones first. Up. Up. And don't worry if the little parts get creased. It's okay, it's just paper. Then we have a valley. Down. Down. And it's really hard to see on some of the tabs. So the reason why I'm not doing all of this in like quick, you know, fast forwarding for all of the pieces is because it won't make a lot of sense. It's going to be very jumbled. So you just have to, and I also hold these really close to my face when I fold them because you have to with some of them. So we've got that going up. It's like a triangle. Anyway, so boom. Mountain, valley, folds. Got mountain, valley, mountain, and valley. Okay, in addition to the mountain and valley fold, you're going to see on a lot of your parts these green arrows. And it does mention on the notation key that that means to add curves. So you've got your, let's see, mountain fold, mountain fold, mountain, mountain, valley. Same over here, mountain, 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 valley. But 17 is one of those ones that needs to be curved. There are other ones besides 15, 16, 17, and 18, but since I haven't worked with these yet, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to add the curves. It's pretty easy. It's like making a ribbon, only not going that far and making a ribbon out of it. So, as you can see, I've got a couple that I've already done. Here's one that I have not done. All you do is find a straight edge, like at the end of a table or anywhere, and you just force the piece around the edge. And that makes it nice and round. And if you're like, well, that's not quite right, because that was the part that you ended with, well, start it that way. And you can see these are gonna fold out because it's a valley fold and they're gonna be together. But that's how you do the curve. Okay, so I have cut out and folded all of the pieces, and I have them arranged by their parts on the assembly instructions. It took me about half an hour to fold all of the parts for page 2. It took me about half an hour for all the parts of page 3. I wasn't keeping track of what was on page 4, so I'm gonna assume it was another half hour. And then the last parts on assembly page 5, it only took me 15, 16 minutes. So to fold and curve everything, it took me about an hour and a half. If it takes you longer, do not worry, you're doing fine. So here's everything all laid out and arranged, all folded and curved. And our next step will be to glue. Okay, so now we are ready to start gluing. So bring back your assembly instructions. And now we're going to talk about the dots that you see all over the tabs on your parts. And 42, one of the cats is trying to get in the closet, just ignore him. So, you can see here there's no, this is grayed out. There are no red dots. You have green dots, which means you're going to attach that part to another place in the same part. For example, piece number 18, and I apologize if anyone is colorblind. Oh my goodness. Mark that however. And when you see that shade, know this is green, and that's blue. Green gets attached to the same part. So that's where green, that's what green means. Blue means attached to the reverse side of another part. Let's say we've got even more green. It's going to go in the back of that. These parts are going to go on the back of another part, as will these, because they're blue. So when you see a dot, you're going to use glue. Of course, depending on the color, is going to kind of tell you where to go. And the last one we have is yellow dot. Attach the reverse sides of two parts together. Now that, I know, comes at the end. See 59 and 60? The wings get folded to, they get glued together. And 61 and 62 also folded together. There aren't any dots on them, but in the instructions here, it's like, look, put them together. Because you notice we don't have 4 wings, we have 2. So we have 2 parts to this side, 2 parts to that side. So those are the dots that we are working with. And let me start with page 1. Okay, so now, since we're gonna start gluing, get your Aleene's glue, your tacky glue. I don't think you guys have the clear one, it doesn't matter, it will dry clear. So don't worry about that. Bust out your binder clips, you may need them. If you have tweezers around the house, they can be useful, but I didn't include them in the kit, so I will try not to use tweezers. I just have them here for an emergency. And I've got parts 1 through 8 here. And our assembly instructions. So we're gonna start here. And don't worry, Aleene's tacky glue is not super glue. It's not gonna glue your fingers together, but you know, be nice and don't glue anything that shouldn't be glued. But anyway, so I put some glue, just a little tiny bit, on the green dot. I'll spread it. Remove the excess glue. And just pinch it for a moment. Whoop. And if it comes away real easy like that, don't worry. Because with tacky glue, if it does come off when you put it back on, it's more tacky. But, oops. Let's use our binder clip for the first time. Oh, I did that all off camera. Okay. There. So it's glued. You can see the back. It's holding it in place. Just gonna adjust it a little bit. There we go. Okay. So we will hold that in place while we work on the other side. Doesn't take much. Spread the glue, pinch it together, wipe away excess glue, and just rub your fingers together over a trash bag or something to get rid of that excess glue on your fingers. And use another binder clip, like so. So, step 1. We have this already rounded because that's what we did earlier. And now it's telling us to put, follow the, so it's not like left to right necessarily. So that's step 1. Step 2, while we let step 1 dry, is part number 2, which is this, and part number 3, which is the snout, and, part number 2, part number 3, see? 3. Blue dots go underneath new separate parts. So we're gonna do that. Oh. And we've got a green dot here that's hiding. Tiny bit of glue. That's going to be too small for binder clips. Just in case it didn't. Get it in frame. Just pinch that together for a little bit. It's saying here we're gonna round this, the snoot. So try doing that. Oh, I need a little more glue. I didn't use very much. Whoop. And I apologize if I go like out of frame a lot. I'm used to doing this like right in front of my face. So, there's that part. Hold it, that holds. And see, it looks like that is the skinny part up here. And then you have like 1, 2, 3. That's how those teeth look. So it's going to go like that. Right? Yes. So. Put some glue on the sides. That. Yes, I am going to use a binder clip for. And, uh-oh. Well, we can come back to that. That little green dot. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and use the tweezers and hold it in. So. The gluing part's the longest. Again, like everything else, take your time. Okay, that's what we're making. off of part 1. And this is dry. That sets in pretty good. It's gonna go, like it says, here's part 1, 2, 2 and 1. Boom. It's gonna go right like that. So let's put a little glue on. Just across. And just adjust it. Again, go slow and be patient. Because the glue is not, it's not super glue. It's not going to dry real fast. Your pieces may slide around a little bit. That's okay. Okay, so this is step 3 complete. I ended up connecting the jaws first and then coming up underneath and putting the tongue and the mouth underneath, and now the binder clips are holding it in. Don't worry if he's a little wonky at first, because we're just starting. Blech. La, 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 la. Okay, so part 3. Step 4 is easy, the eyeballs. And they go right where it already looks like he's looking at you. Blue eyes. But the new blue dot means that another part is going on top of it. And you did label them, right? You've got 8 on the right side, like that. Seven on the left side. Look at him straight on. And grab underneath the head. Squish those eyeballs on. See if these can come off. Okay, should push mine a little further down. You can see that little crack, but oh well, it's no biggie. Oh. Make sure you don't pop their eyes off. You're messing around with the dragon. Okay. So, part 4, done. Number 5, we're gonna add part 9 to this. That's cool. Oh. Okay. So we see quite a few green dots. Let's get those first. And glue the horns together. Green, green. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Get back on there. And right now it's at a really weird angle for the binder clips. So I'm trying to not mess with those. Again, don't worry about those lines. You can color them in with our marker later. And I've got more green, more green. And green gets glued from the same part. Notice how it curves. It forces you to curve it as you glue it. It's kind of cool. And I'm gonna risk the binder clips on this one. Here. Put that in the middle where it bends, and that's how you get the horns to bend. Just gotta get them together. Which it's okay if it takes a moment. Experienced paper crafters are probably watching this going, oh man, she's really messing this up. Okay, down and up. That's what got it. Apart. Okay. These metal parts didn't have a binder clip. Ooh. Just gonna squeeze those a little more. And we will glue top of the head, and the bottom of the horns, and it goes in like that. You turn it under. You reach under and make sure that that little tab under its forehead connects, and then do the horns one at a time. It may take a few tries, so don't worry about that. Gotta two-hand this one. Hold them horns on. Oh, you see the forehead one came undone.